Welcome to Kids A-Cookin', where kids come first and cooking is fun. I'm Karen, and today we have Sean helping us in the kitchen. Sean, how old are you?
10.
And do you like to do a lot of baking?
Yeah.
You do? What kind of things do you like to bake at home?
Peanut butter cookies.
Those are your favorite, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do it by yourself, or do you need some help sometimes?
I need some help sometimes.
Yeah, but you could go in and do it yourself, you think?
It depends on if I have the recipe or not.
Yeah. Well, kids of all ages will have fun stirring up these cupcakes. Be sure you wash your hands before you get started. We've already done that, haven't we? So our hands are clean. Then preheat your oven to 350 degrees because we're going to bake these in the oven. Now you want to use a large mixing bowl to mix up the ingredients in this recipe. When you use a large bowl, the ingredients stay in the bowl a little bit better when the kids are stirring, and it won't mess up your countertop as much either. We're going to begin by creaming 1/2 cup of solid shortening. We have some right here. And here's your measuring cup, so you can scoop it out of there. Let's move it a little closer for you. We're going to fill our measuring cup full. And you can use the back side of that rubber scraper to just kind of pack it down in there. Good job. Now to that we're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar, and we already have that measured. So all we need to do is just add that to our shortening. Then we're going to mix that together. I'm just going to use this real quick to get this off the side of the dish. Add it. Now be sure when you use your mixer that you always keep your beaters down on the bottom of the bowl, okay? Go ahead and turn it on low. Okay. All right. You did a good job keeping all that together and not spraying me. Okay, to this we're going to add 2 eggs. And the way we want to do this is to always break them into a separate dish. Do you know why we do that? Sometimes, do you ever get eggshell in there when you break an egg? Well, if you do that in your batter, then you have to dig it out. So this is just a little bit better way to make sure you get a good egg. So we'll add that, and then I'll let you do one. One-handed almost. You've done that a few times, haven't you?
Not really.
No? You did a great job. I'll take that, and you can pour your egg into here. To this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, which we already have measured here. You know, sometimes when you're cooking with kids, it helps if you pre-measure some of the ingredients so the kids can get to the fun of mixing a little more quickly. Now we're going to mix this together again with the mixer. You ready? Hang on to it. Okay, that's good. Excellent. Set that there always so it drips into your bowl, okay, so you don't make a mess. Okay, now we're going to mix up our dry ingredients. Let's go over here to the flour. This recipe calls for 1½ cups of flour. Whenever you measure your flour, it's not like the shortening that we packed down in there. You want it kind of fluffy and light, so it helps if you just stir it around a little bit in your canister. Ooh, and make a mess while you're at it. And then just fill up your cup, and you want to overfill it. You know that already?
Well, yeah, my dad always makes me.
That's how he taught you to do it. And then you just use the back side of the knife to kind of divide it over there so it's all covered, and then just scrape off the extra. That gives you a good measure without it being packed down tight. So I did the 1 cup. You can do the half. Stir it around a little bit, and then hold your cup over the canister. And then you can use the knife just to level it off. Use that straight side of the knife. Just scrape off the extra. Perfect. So we have 1½ cups of flour, and we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, again, which we already have measured, and 1/2 teaspoon, excuse me, of baking soda. Whenever you measure, you want to dip in and then scrape along the side. Did Dad teach you that too?
Yep.
Okay. So you can add the 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which is also pre-measured for us. So you can add that. And then grab that spoon out of the flour. Just want to gently stir this together so the ingredients are pretty well mixed. Lots of steps in making cupcakes, huh? Now this recipe calls for 1 cup of mashed bananas, so that might be about 2 to 3 depending on the size of bananas that you have. And these bananas aren't real ripe, but so it's a good way to use up ripe bananas if you have some of those real dark ones at home. Instead of pitching them, bake them up. You can even peel them and freeze them like that, and then pull them out later when you're ready to use them. We'll start with 2 and see if that's enough, okay? So just put these on a plate. If they're real ripe, you don't even need to pre-mash them. You can usually just add those to your cream mixture, but we'll go ahead and mash these because they're still pretty firm. And then we're going to grab our 1 cup measuring cup over there. You want to get that for me? And we'll just see how much we ended up with here. Get all the way through there. Let's scoop some into here and see how much we have. If you end up with a little bit more, your cupcakes will just be a little moister, but you need a pretty accurate measurement or it could throw off your recipe. Boy, that's pretty close, isn't it? Those 2 bananas came just about to 1 cup. So we're going to add this, and you can grab that flour. We're going to add that too. I'll add this to our shortening and sugar, and you can add the dry ingredients. And then again, we're going to use the mixer. Now a nice tip is that we have a wet cloth underneath here, and that keeps your bowl from slipping on the counter. Have you ever tried that?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever had your bowl slip on you when you're mixing?
Yeah.
You don't have to hang on quite so tight if you have that under there. So again, just make sure you keep your beaters on the bottom of the bowl. Turn it on low so you don't have flour flying. There you go. Okay, turn it off. You don't want to mix these too much, so I'm just going to stop for a second and get all these dry ingredients mixed in there. Okay, you want to finish that? Okay, we have this all mixed up, and this recipe will make 12 large cupcakes. So we've lined this muffin tin with paper cups, and I think the easiest way to do this is to use an ice cream scoop to measure, and you just want these to be about 2/3 full. So if you just scoop one scoop, it comes right out when you go like that. You want to try one? Then you want to bake these for about 20 to 22 minutes until they're golden brown, and that is just enough time for kids to help put the ingredients away and wash up the dishes and get ready to sample. When your cupcakes come out of the oven, always remove them from the tin and allow them to cool on a cooling rack. We have some that are already baking, and we are ready to eat. You want to try some that are already baked?
Sure.
We'll be right back to give them a try. It is important to correctly measure flour for the best baked products. To do that, you want to start by using a spoon to just lightly stir the flour while it's in the storage container. And then, Sean, you can help me. We're just going to lightly add it, spoonful by spoonful, into our measuring cup. And you want to overfill your cup, but not pack it down, otherwise you'll have too much for your recipe. So just lightly spoon it on top. That's okay. Maybe 1 more spoon. And then use the straight edge of a knife or a spatula to just level it off. And make sure it's all divided so you have it in any holes that are there. And then just scrape it off along the top. Okay? If your recipe calls for several cups of flour, place the measured amounts in separate piles in your mixing bowl, or you can lay it out on wax paper to make counting easier. Remember, don't measure flour over your mixing bowl because spilling will throw off the measurement. Our cupcakes turned out perfect, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
They look good. Let's see if they taste good.
Sure.
The aroma of these cupcakes baking fills the whole house. You add a glass of cold low-fat milk and you've got the perfect snack. How they taste?
These are really good.
For more information about this recipe and helpful hints to make cooking easier, visit our website, kidsacookin.ksu.edu. See you next time on Kids A Cookin'.